can you show some traps in the Queen's Gambit? Should we take a small break? Should we just like have a lesson on traps in the Queen's Gambit? The most basic trap is a Queen's Gambit accepted trap, which a lot of noobs will fall into. Yeah, almost 2 million people have taken the pawn, which is a completely fine opening. But the trap to kind of get a lot of beginner players in is to play e3 here. Let's say black plays b5 and then a4. Now we just follow the most common move, c6, takes. This might be one of the most common traps in chess. Like, there's not too many traps where over, at least according to the database, where over 20,000 people walk into it. But yeah, queen f3 just wins the rook. I assume most people have seen this before, but if you're new to chess, then it's a nice one to know, because black just took a pawn, tried to defend it, and then gets punished. So the question, I'm really curious, who's the highest rated player that has fallen into this? Man, 2,700. That's crazy. I feel kind of sad for these people. Like 2,500 plus players walking into one of like the most common traps in chess. But maybe you could treat it. Can you treat it as a gambit? Queen b6? This? No, you can't really trap the queen. You want to play this, but you lose more material. So this is a nice one. After a4, black is already under massive, massive pressure. If a6 we take and there's a pin, and there's some fun lines like if bishop d7, bring back all the games. You can take bishop takes and then can ask stockfish, but yeah, white's already having a nice advantage. Yeah, bishop moves, and we win the pawn. I can share some more advanced traps too. I could share a trap for black. The famous elephant trap. Turn off stockfish. The elephant trap is against the Queen's Gambit. You go into this position, probably one of the most common positions. Actually, let's say white takes first. But you can get this from multiple different move orders. And then here you play knight d7. And then you say, oh no, my pawn. So over 5,000 people took on d5 here, which is a blunder. So you can also get it from this move order if bishop g5, knight d7 also sets up the trap, where it looks like white can just win the pawn. The problem is, most people know, you take on d5, and then you say, oh no, my queen. But then you win white's queen right back. Queen d2, only legal move. Takes, takes, and black has an extra knight in this position. So I learned this from a very young age. Some nice memories getting this, and probably got this in at least one over-the-board tournament game when playing Scholastic Chess. So I think between the first one and this one, these are like the two most common traps in the Queen's Gambit. I can show more though. So how many people fell for this? So almost 5,500. The next one I'll show, it's another trap where you're black. It's another pretty like famous one. But I'm sure there's people watching who haven't seen it before. It starts with e5, known as the Albin counter gambit. So rather than accepting the gambit, black gambits a pawn, you play d4. And the trap actually begins after white's next move. And this is a case where one of white's most natural looking moves is actually a key mistake. Move being e3, which looks very normal. You want to remove this pawn, trade queens, and simplify. Let's see how many players played e3. Man, 27,000. This might actually be more common than the elephant trap. And this is the start of a really beautiful line. I think I'm going to spoil it just because it's hard to imagine from this position. But within the next 5 moves, black is going to under promote to a knight. And it's like all the best moves for black. That's hard to imagine, like promoting to a knight anytime soon here. But it's going to be like the icing on the cake of the trap. And I'm saying that because the people who haven't seen this before, it'll keep them watching. So the move is bishop b4, check. White will play like most natural bishop d2. I think we can just follow the most common moves. Yeah, bishop d2, take on e3. So more people take back, but over 6,600 people took the bishop. It helps if you say, oh no, my bishop. Well, white will be more likely to take. And then, yeah, then we take on f2. And now the point is we're checking the king. We're deflecting the king away from defending the queen. So if takes, we just win the queen. So white will play king e2. And now this is a position where it's best to take and not promote to a queen. If you promote to queen, you give white the option of taking. And this is actually fine for white. This is equal material. But you promote to knight. Only way to promote and check the king. And then if rook takes, we skewer and we win the queen. So we can see on Lichess, yeah, almost 5,000 games. Like most people who go into this position know to promote to knight. It's actually sad. Like the people who played bishop g4, is this is now better for white because there's knight f3. So yeah, f takes g1 knight. And then the best move is actually king e1. And here, we're not actually winning the queen, but we have a crushing position after queen h4, and we just randomly have a knight on g1. So main line is, let's say king d2. It's so funny too, because we have 3 knights on the board within the first 10 moves. Knight c6. I wonder if there's some lines where this knight survives. Bishop c3. This is actually really funny. Queenside castling with check. Knight d4. Knight e2. Okay, anyway. So that's the main trap in the Albin. That, I mean, unsuspecting players, I think it's very easy to kind of play e3 and stumble into this. Do I share more? Do people want to see more Queen's Gambit traps? I shared 3 already. Some of the most common traps. Trying to think of another one. Oh, there's one I actually fell into when I was younger. I was like 1600. It's actually kind of common. You can get a lot of players who try playing a reverse London. So it starts as a Slav. And it emerges, let's say black plays c6, and then goes for like natural development with knight f6 and bishop f5. So essentially we get this position. Okay, different move orders, but if black plays this going for reverse London, then I think black has already basically walked into the trap. I should note we're switching back, so now white is going to be trapping black. How many people have reached this position? Wow. I might have to take back what I said earlier. Because earlier I was saying, like the first trap may be the most common. It's probably the most famous. But this one's going to branch out, but we're going to have lines where white's much better in most every variation. So the key move to play is c takes d5. C takes d5 and then queen b3. So over 51,000 games from here. And the point is we're pressuring the queen side, and it's really hard to figure out the best way to defend as black. Real quick. Okay, so most people either play this or this. I want to ask chat to find the best move for black in this position. The best move is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, black to move, try and find the best move. Some people saying queen d7. Oh, king d7 is probably the most ridiculous move, but it's not king d7. Queen takes e1 would also be ridiculous, but also slightly illegal. Yeah, good job to everyone saying bishop c8. Black, in order to hold on to everything, black has to undevelop the bishop. And then white's just having a pleasant game. And just, yeah, more development and yeah, way more development, like 4 pieces developed compared to 1 piece for black. So most players won't play bishop c8. Most players, we can see, actually play queen b6, which loses a pawn to the simple knight takes d5.
Feels bad, man, bishop.
Oh yeah, it feels bad when you're black and you have to play bishop c8, but it feels good if you're white. And the point here is that if queen takes queen, we don't take back because then we lose our knight, but we take with check, Zwischenzug, in between move, and then whatever takes back, white's up a healthy pawn, has 2 center pawns versus 0 center pawns. So, how many people play queen b6? 17,000. Now, if we look at the other line, b6, this b6 line is actually a bit more beautiful. It will lead to more crushing advantage for white. The continuation here actually starts with a normal move, bishop g5. Just simply developing, but also keeping initiative. We're threatening to take and win the pawn. So the best move for black is, or I don't know if it's the best move, but it's the most common move, of course, is e6. Most common by far. And now this is another puzzle for chat. White to move and find the beautiful way to destroy black's hopes and dreams. Hello there. Thanks for subbing, sure, fine, whatever. Just drawing arrows for the legal moves that I see suggested. Queen b7, slightly illegal. Okay, good job to people saying e4. Sacking a pawn, but keeping initiative. Like, it's so easy for black to stumble into this position, like from early in the opening too. So we only have 1 defender, but the point is we hit the bishop and we threaten bishop b5. So regardless of how black captures, okay, if knight captures, we win the queen. Most people take with pawn. We play bishop b5, knight d7, and then after knight e5, white is guaranteed to win a piece because both knights are pinned and yeah, there's no way to defend. The threat is just to take this knight first. Actually, the threat is to take either knight because the knights don't really defend each other. So a move like bishop e7, breaking the pin, then we take this knight first, and then take the other knight, and life is good. The king can't castle, we're threatening discoveries. So let's see how many people played e4. Okay. Oh, most people play e3, which is also strong, but e4, I believe, is the strongest. Yeah. So super venomous. A nice line to know in Queen's Gambit. And it's one reason why, like when you're playing against Queen's Gambit, you have to be very careful developing this bishop early. Because when Queen b3 happens, you can fall in trouble very quickly. Okay, so how many traps was that? let's recap. We saw the Queen's Gambit accepted trap. We just saw the Slav like reverse London gone wrong trap. And we saw the elephant trap for black, which was the one where we say, oh no, my pawn, and then oh no, my queen. So this one. And we also saw the Albin counter gambit under promotion to knight trap. Do I share one more? I'll share one more just to make it 5. That's a nicer number for future YouTube title. So this next one will be against the Queen's Gambit. It'll be called the Cambridge Springs. Actually, it involves white playing like all the natural moves. So white's gonna just play the natural Queen's Gambit setup and then fall victim to a trap. So all these arrows I drew, black will play, or white will play, and then black will be trapping white. So the setup will be, you can actually start with elephant trap if you want. And let's imagine white doesn't take, but just continues developing. So far both sides really solid. Black built the triangle structure. And after the next move, Queen A5, this is the start of the Cambridge Springs. It's a cool move because we create the pin against the knight. We have ideas of this and this. And then the bishop is also a target in some variations. And we break the pin. So one of the more natural looking moves for white, even though, okay, so it's not the most common move, but it's still played almost 9,000 times, is bishop d3. And bishop d3 is a mistake here because white can take. This one I'll just go ahead and show. Is to play knight e4. And this is a fork. We're threatening the bishop and the knight twice with our knight, but also our queen.
The person I've been subbed to the longest and I've loved
for
nice. 25 months.
Oh, thank you, Lord
Thanks
Francesco.
Welcome
back.
30 months equals free lesson, right? Lol.
Oh, maybe. Remind me in 5 months. I should offer something for the long time subs. Anyway, this is one kind of big free lesson. It's also one big triangle. A nice little... What do you call a triangle where all the sides are different lengths? Because there's equilateral, there's isosceles, scalene. Man, I haven't heard the word scalene in so long. Anyway, yeah, the queen and knight coordinate beautifully here. And what's funny about this position is, yeah, almost 700 people don't realize their bishop is hanging. They'll play queen c2 and you just win a bishop. So it's hard to see the queen like is so far away, still can capture on g5. Of course, it's better for white to save the bishop. And then we take the knight and then take. We're not winning this because there's knight d2, but we have some nice pressure. We're up a pawn and black is for choice here. We are threatening to take this too, so white still has to be careful. Oh, Mesopotamia. And with that's all the traps I have for now. So maybe I'll have to prepare more traps for the future, but hopefully people got some value from that. I'll almost certainly put this on YouTube